All right. Another another episode of friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
That equivalent that translates to the flagrant too.
right. We in the multiverse right now. Yeah, man, it's X and Loom. I'm back with a new episode. We're gonna go ahead and break down game 4 of the NBA finals between Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics. Starting off with you, X. Um, what did you see? What did you see differently from game 4 that we saw in game 3?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. We saw a lot of hot shooting. That's what we saw. We saw the adjustments made by Kerr, which he said it ain't look too well though. That's why they pulled the adjustments early. We seen, like you said, they was gonna start Otto Porter. They went ahead and started Otto Porter. It ain't look too gravy, you know what I mean? It ain't look too good at the beginning. So they brought in Looney as soon as possible.
Right.
But it's just like the adjustments we seen when I was sitting here saying that Looney and Green couldn't be on the floor at the same time. And we saw those adjustments being made where they was actually more, having, you seen the new, they had everybody in there from the death lineup except for Draymond Green. They had Looney in there because, the size.
Yeah.
And his ability to grab rebounds is the thing that they really needed over a playmaker, because if we're going to sit here and have Steph Curry abuse the drop coverage, and the drop coverage pretty much eliminating Draymond Green's short rolls, it's like, what do we even need you out there for right now, Dre? And it's the toughest thing to say, but, it's a thing that's need to be said on the offensive end, at least, because on defense, Draymond's still everywhere and he makes it do what it do. So what about you? What are you talking about, man?
I loved Otto Porter starting. I said that they needed to get more production, especially from the starters. From an offensive standpoint, in my opinion, it may have been better to start Otto and had Dre come off the bench, just for the fact that you have a little bit more offense and you have a little bit more rebounding. I'm not mad at Otto starting in place of Looney. I think Looney and Dre sharing the floor together, defensively it works. Offensively, it doesn't. You have pick and rolls with Looney. Yeah, you get your matchup with Curry, but I mean, at that point, it's kind of like I'm gonna live with Looney at the basket because I don't want Curry to get hot and see his shot going at the 3. So I'm gonna double that every single time. But I don't know. I think that this was we already had said Golden State cannot go back to San Francisco down. They handled their job. They won this game, and I mean, Curry was fantastic. I think that this has been his best finals to date. I mean, out of what the 6 that they've been in, this is his best series.
Bro, it's got to be his best. And then he drops 40 bomb, bro. Dropped 40 on their head. He had 43. Guess what? The Jays, Jason and Jalen, they had 44. He almost outscored them by himself, 1 point off.
Yep.
He gave you the same production out of 2 people with the efficiency of a god.
Yeah, I mean, 14 for 26 from the field, 7 for 14 from 3, 8 from 9 from the line, and he gives you 10 rebounds. He didn't give you much steals or blocks this game. I mean, he's been pretty consistent getting into the passing lanes. He also had 5 turnovers, but he's a plus 11 overall. And from the production that you're getting, you're not upset about the defensive aspects. He's giving you 43. He's giving you 10 rebounds. He's giving you 4 assists. You're not mad at everything else. You're happy that he's giving you offense because you don't know exactly where else it's gonna come from. Jordan Poole was a little bit better. He had 14 points, 6 for 13 shooting. Wiggs was a very disappointing offensively. But he made up for a lot of of the offensive shortcomings with good, solid defense and rebounding. He has 16 rebounds. Clay, where's Clay, man? Where is Clay? It seems like he goes through these spurts where he looks fantastic, good like 5-minute spurts where it's just fantastic, can't miss a shot. He's doing his thing. Then he goes to the bench and comes back, and it's just like, damn, like Kerr, why why you bench him, man? I don't know. I want more out of Clay. Is it selfish to want more? At this point, it's like I need more.
No, it's not, because at the end of the day, you still gonna have to match what Boston Celtics could replicate and what they could do, because you gotta have Curry go. Curry's gotta keep averaging these points right here, and we know Curry's gonna have a game where he's really just not feeling it. And you can't really have that with what you're getting out of anybody else out here on this court. And it's like with Curry, it can happen at any moment where he'd only drop 20 points in a game.
Right.
But the thing about it right now is if he drops 20 points in the game, they lose the game, because you don't know who else is really going to put up numbers. And I can't let you off the line with what you were saying about Wiggins. Wiggins, he was doing his thing that game. I don't care what you say, man. That man was like 15 and 15 out there, man.
He was 7 for 17, man. He's 7 for 17 with 2 for 6 from 3. Are you talking about the Celtics?
No, I'm talking about Wiggins. What do you mean?
Nah, man. I needed more out of Wiggins.
15 points and 15 rebounds. He
had
17 plus in those.
17 points and 16 rebounds. I like the rebounds.
Plus, bro. What do you mean?
I like the rebounds.
That's what you need out of him. What do you want? The thing about it, you want Clay to score. That's the guy who scores. Jordan Poole is the guy who scores. Steph Curry is the guy who scores. How many people Wiggins, do you need to score? Wiggins has to score. He has to score, yes, but he doesn't have to be that guy. Like I said, you need 15 or 20 points out of Wiggins. Wiggins gave you the 15 to 20 points, and now he completed and gave you at least 15 rebounds, 16 rebounds to be exact. I don't know what you.
I need more.
If you're not satisfied with that, I don't know what you want to do. What the hell does Wiggins have to do? He's got to go for 50 for you to be happy. Which guess what? That's not him. He can't go for 50 with even on this end with Jordan Poole and Clay, and then he can't even go for 50. What do you mean? This guy's gonna shoot shots too.
I mean, I get it. I want him to be more aggressive in the paint rather than settling for threes.
He was. He had like out of those.
He's 2 for 6. He's 2 for 6,
bro. 2 for 6 from what?
From 3. That's what I'm saying. Like even in the last game, he was like 1 for 7.
And that means 11 of those shots was from where?
No, from the field, and I get that.
From the field, from the fucking paint. I mean, from the damn paint. That man, look, I don't care what you say right now. Right now, we are not going to
less threes. No, I'm not. He had rebounds. Look, he had a great game.
What he had to do, bro.
He had a great game. But I want him to be more focused.
We can sit there and talk about Clay, and I'll be quiet. Like, yes, Clay has not done anything, but we're not going to talk about Wiggs like that. And then he's playing defense on the other end. Like, come on.
Okay.
What more do you want? That's what he's there for. He gave you exactly what you wanted from him, and then more with the rebounding.
Okay, I'll give you that. Let's go to the other side of the ball. Let's go to the Celtics. Al Horford with a 2 for 6 night, all 2 for 6 from the field. Period. Were from the 3. He took no shots inside. He took no, no mid ranges, no nothing. He didn't do anything but try to give you threes. I think that right there tells a story of they was pressing. They was afraid. There was a little, because Al Horford is a solid mid-range shooter, and he can get to the rim. Maybe not like, a Jaylen Brown, but the thing is, you put him on a block, and he can at least spin, try to get to the rim, try to create the contact, try to create get the what do you call that? The draw the foul or close the distance to get to the rim. He's good at that, and he's smart. He's savvy. 2 for 6, and all your shots come from the 3 is unacceptable from Al Horford. I think that Jalen played a relatively he was kind of quiet. Um, Tatum pressed a little bit. Smart. I think that the Warriors did a good job of putting them on their heels. They was on their heels a lot. Even when they was up, it still felt like they was down. And I think that they felt that as well. How do you
Yeah.
feel?
I'm gonna keep it a funky with you, man. I think you're absolutely right about him shooting 2 for 6, all of them 3-pointers, because at the end of the day, we seen when we seen when Boston was at their best. That's when they was attacking the rim. They was absolutely obliterating the rim. When I tell you they was going to the rim, and it's just like, come on, we got to think of the Golden State Warriors are the smaller team right now.
Right.
So attacking the rim is one of the things that you have to do. But I think one of the reasons also for the fact that it was a lot more shots taken from three and taking outside of the paint and things like that was the fact that Steph Curry was actually going off. If you think about it, Steph Curry is a guy who's shooting threes. If you got to think, all right, we got to match 3 for 3. That's where Boston went wrong, because at the end of the day, you got to play your game.
Yeah.
And keep chipping away and keep letting your game play and just keep getting your points. And if you lose because of that, all right, cool, play your game. But what I think they did was they fell into the trap and into the game of the Golden State Warriors as them as a 3-point team, and them actually just getting those threes up. And Steph Curry just making the rain. And those was loud threes. All of them was loud threes.
Yeah.
And it's just like, all right, we got to get our get back. I got to make a 3 instead of them actually, getting a little pump fake, driving to their right and getting to the basket or something. But guess what? Nope. They ain't want to do any of that. And I think that's really what showed and what made this game what it was. You're not going to beat Steph Curry shooting threes.
You're not. And the good thing is that they got to the line more than the Warriors. The Warriors got to the line 15 times, whereas well, I can't say 15 times. They had 15 shots at the free throw line, and the Celtics had 19. There was 14 for 19. They got to the line more frequently, but you have to get to the line more. You have to make your presence felt, and I think that that's what they did in Game 3. They got to the line more frequently. They got to the rim more frequently. They attacked aggressively. This game, they didn't attack so aggressively, and that could have been the Steph Curry factor. It could have been, Steph is going off, and if we don't get the call, or if we don't make the the mid range or get to the rim the way we want to and draw a foul, then you're looking at it on the other end where it's like, dang, Steph is literally hitting all of these big shots. How do you combat that? Well, the way that you combat a high powered scoring and everything is, one, you get the ball out of Curry's hands, whether it be trapping, and make somebody else beat us. You can't let Curry be the only one that's going to beat you. And then the second thing you could do is chip away. Should you take the high percentage shot, and you live and die with those. That's how the Warriors came back against Dallas. They didn't come back by a historic night of threes. They played defense. They got the ball out of Luka's hands, and they chipped away. And I think that was Game 4 when they was up like 17 points or something like that at half, and they just kept chipping away. By the fourth quarter, they was up. That's what you have to do, especially against a high powered scoring team like the Warriors. Get the ball out of Curry's hands. Let somebody else beat you. If it's Wiggins, let it be Wiggins. At the very least, you know what Wiggins is going to do. Steph Curry is very unpredictable with the ball in his hands. As far as as soon as he puts the ball on the floor, you don't know what he's going to do. He could drive past you if you overplay him.
Mm-hmm.
He can shoot over you. He could do a step back, and you don't even know where is the step back going to come, because he's very crafty and making you think that this is where the step back is going to be. It's kind of like a fake out, and you could press, you could reach at the wrong time and foul him. Now he's at the line. So it's very tough, but the first thing you want to do is get the ball out of Curry's hands.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it too, that's a tough thing to ask, because at the end of the day, the reason why we looking at Draymond and we saying Draymond is playing like garbage on the offensive side is the same reason why Steph Curry is going off. They're not getting the ball out of his hand, but the thing that's tough is if you get the ball out of his hand, you getting the ball to one of the best passers in the league. After you get a ball from Steph Curry, usually the screener is gonna be Draymond. You get the ball to him, and you seen late in a pivotal time in that game. It was like within 2 minutes left, where Steph Curry, where Steve Kerr was making an offensive defensive substitutions. There was a moment when they didn't get to make that substitution, so Draymond got caught on the offensive side, and he was pushing the ball. You got it to Draymond. Steph Curry got a 3 off a bounce pass, and then they actually did a blitz and got the ball out of Steph Curry's hands. They got it to Draymond. Draymond takes Lou's dribble and gets the ball to Looney, and Looney just finishes with the left hand going up under Horford.
Right.
So it's like at the end of the day, now you went ahead and you actually did what you had to do late in the game and blitzing Steph Curry and getting the ball out of his hand. But the fact that Draymond was on the court, it unlocks them to play that, that mismatch ball where they don't have enough defenders to guard 2 people.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a tough thing to ask. And just like any other team, you're going to sit here and be like, well, the star is going to head and get his points, so let's allow him to get his points and cut off everybody else. The tough thing is the star that you allow him to get his points is Steph Curry. And when he makes a 3, he gets everybody in the fucking court. Everybody on his team riled up, and everybody who's in that building riled up. So it's a tough thing to ask, because once he's making the threes that he was making this game was absolutely insane.
Yeah, I remember that the 3 that he made, and they immediately called the timeout, and I had text you because Curry was feeling it. He knew that this was his moment, and he was talking to the crowd. He was getting spicy, and you never want a star player to start jawing at the crowd, because he's not playing you at that moment. He's not. This is not about you and the Celtics. This is about me making this arena my B word. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is everybody out here, like the fans, the down to the concession workers. I own every one of you. And when that happened, I was just like, yeah, Warriors are gonna win this game. It doesn't matter if Boston gets a lead or not. The momentum is within Curry. It's not even the Warriors themselves have the momentum. Curry is feeling it. I'm not surprised he finished with 40 points. I'm actually surprised he didn't finish with like 50 or 60, to be, completely honest with you. But, this was a statement game, in my opinion. And not just for I'm not saying for the Warriors as a whole. This was for Curry. Do you always talk about that one game in the finals where you make a statement in your case for your name to be etched out in the echelons and in the greats, that GOAT game? I really feel like this was that game.
Honestly, it definitely was. It's up there with a lot of games that was in the finals, and it's just mostly because of the shots that he was making. Everything was so it was difficult, like on a level of difficult. It was like 2 back-to-backs where I gotta say the Tatum one that he made on Tatum was an absolute foul. That should have been a foul call.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Without a foul. The one before that, it was a little hand clap, a high five.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that either.
I'm like, that's not like, I understand probably, shooters the way they call it now, you would feel some type of way. But the next one with Tatum was definitely a foul. And
yeah, it was definitely a foul.
And it was that was all night. He was making shots like that. He got his get back on Derek White as well. Late in the game, he shot it right over him like he wasn't even there. And it was just like, he had to get his get back on Derek White one time. So it was just a crazy night, and it's definitely one of those games that you're just gonna remember. When you think of his highlights and it's over, when his career is over, you think of the highlights. It's gonna be highlights from that game.
Yeah, it's gonna be game 4. Yup. Yeah, win or lose, this is gonna be the game that kind of defines him. And there was even saying that I don't know if you agree with this, but they say that win or lose, he should be the Finals MVP regardless. And you look at the MVP of what an MVP stands for, most valuable player on both sides of the ball, on both sides, on either team. He's been the best player in this finals, period.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be mad if the Celtics win the finals, but he gets MVP. I mean, it'll be the first. He was unanimous finals MVP. I mean, unanimous
I mean,
MVP in the regular
it's not
season.
gonna be the first. It happened before.
I mean, but I mean, and yeah, well, it has happened before, but it's rare. It's rare that that happens. But again, I wouldn't be mad if that is what happens. You know, he deserves it.
Definitely, and that'll be a crazy Finals MVP to have. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you know what I mean. I understand what it said, what they say about it, this, that, and the third. But man, that Finals MVP, man, that team won. They deserve that Finals MVP.
I agree with that
So
too. I agree.
I would even take it away. But it's a tough thing to ask because now that Finals MVP right now is looking more like Jaylen Brown than Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't even fit their narrative of what that whole NBA been going with. Because come on, let's think about it. How much publicity has Jaylen Brown got compared to Jason Tatum?
Jonathan Isaac says Jaylen Brown's finals MVP.
Yeah, that's a fact.
No,
Right
I
now
agree.
he's
I
saying
agree.
that Finals MVP, but it's just not going to go with the narrative that they keep pushing right now because we
With
keep
Tatum
it. Yeah, they've been pushing Tatum as
as the star,
he's
as the next
he
kid.
is the superstar.
He's the
But
star of he's the face of their franchise.
exactly of their franchise and one of the faces of the East right now, and he's getting pushed as a superstar. He's moving in that superstar direction, and it's like,
But
yo, you
Brown
need
has
this.
been more consistent. He
Oh yeah,
has
no, I'm
on
saying
both sides of the
Brown
ball.
is
Yeah.
definitely. I'm not sitting there making a case for Tatum at all right now.
Mm-hmm.
Tatum's got to have a fantastic next 3 games
Yep.
for him to take this. But right now, like, you know what I mean? It's just for his case, it's just gonna be bad because right now the league even been pushing him more than Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown ain't
Yeah.
getting no publicity or nothing. He's just out there playing
He
ball,
just out there
and now
balling.
he's killing. You know what I mean? So it's like
And in the essence, I
happy
think
for Jaylen Brown.
in essence, I think that it's actually it's less pressure on Jaylen to perform. So it makes it more, it makes it that even more less difficult for him to go out there and perform. I mean, you gotta imagine the pressure that your star has to have in order to put the team on their back, close out games, and this, that, and a third. And it's been Jaylen with the least amount of pressure on him because all the pressure is literally on Tatum. We talk about Tatum because Tatum's a star. Tatum is the all-star. He's the next, whereas Jonathan just said, he's the next Kobe storyline. Everybody wants Tatum to be in the spotlight, and he's one of the premier players in the East right now. But you have another teammate on you that is also a fellow all-star who doesn't get as much recognition and as much accolades or as much publicity and media attention that Tatum does, and he's outperforming the star. So, when you take it into that aspect, it's kind of like being in Miami and it's Wade instead of LeBron, and that kind of analogy. Not trying to compare the two. But what I will say is, what I saw in this game in particular, the rebounds. We talk about it all the time. You could win a game by with getting out rebounded. I believe that, but you're not gonna win a game by giving another team second chance opportunities. Offensive rebounds are pivotal. You could die on the floor, not getting as much defensive rebounds as the next team. Offensive rebounds, on the other hand, no, that is pivotal. And I think that if we look at the stats from each game, if you look at who has the most offensive rebounds and who has the most second chance points, they've won that game. This game it was Golden State with 16 offensive rebounds. They off those second chance points, they scored almost 20 points. I mean, that's you can't let that happen at all. Even if you allow them to get an offensive rebound, you can't allow them to get that second chance points. You have to corral the paint. They did a good job of that in game 3. I mean, they 2-1 on a rebound stat in favor of Boston. This game it was 55-42.
Exactly, and the one thing too is like when you really think about it, you could still win a game, lose in the rebounding battle, but you have to win the turnover battle. And in this game, it's just like the turnovers was still similar. So if you're gonna
Right.
get rebounded, you gotta at least take care of the ball. That's the one thing that obviously Boston and the Warriors have a problem with. They turn the ball over. When they have a time, anytime they get over at least over 15 turnovers, 15 or more, you lose the game. This one, I think Golden State had 16 turnovers and Boston had 15, so basically neck and neck. So the fact that you lost the rebounding battle so heavily, you didn't deserve to win that game.
Yeah.
And we
And
could go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, and like they don't deserve to win that game. We can make the whole argument because let's talk about it. If game one would have went the way it was honestly supposed to go and they didn't, blow the lead, right now they would be going to Golden State down 3-1.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
this is just showing that Boston, you have to, what is it, cross your T's and dot your I's going into this game because you can't afford to mess up the way that you're messing up right now because Golden State is a team that's proven that if you mess up, they're going to take advantage of that. And even if you go up big, they're going to actually keep running their game the way their game plan is going and keep executing until they chip down that lead. Is something that the Boston has not been doing. So it's like it's just showing the experience versus the lack of experience.
Definitely.
And despite Horford being a guy who's really an experienced guy, he's never been, you know what I mean, in the finals. And it's just showing like, if you're going to be 2 for 6, you can't be that from 3. You can't really be taking that much threes. And I understand his game isn't what it used to be, where he used to bang down low with all the bigs and this, that, and the third. But at some point, you got to just be like, I'm going to put my head down up and get to the basket and make something happen.
Yeah, because 2 for 6, and those were your only shots, and all of your shots come from 3. I mean, it's unacceptable. I get, they had a higher 3-point percentage, but they also took 5 less shots than the Warriors from 3. 15 for 38 to 15 for 40, 15 for 43. So I mean, they took 5 more shots. So that percentage just kind of is skewed because it's like, Golden State took 5 more shots, but you guys still made the same amount of threes. So you can't live and die by the 3 when you're not a 3-point shooting team. Boston is not a 3-point shooting team. They can shoot the 3, but they're not going to shoot it at a high clip, and you can't rely on the 3-point shot if that's not what your game predicates on. Your game predicates on getting into the paint and creating
drive and kick
contact. Yeah, and driving and kicking. You're not going to do that. And 40% from the field, 34 for 85. Golden State showing you that not only they can do it from the 3-point line, but they can do it from all over the floor. I mean, 40 for 91, 44% from the field. They're doing it not just from 3-point. I mean, majority of the 3-point shots are coming from either Poole, Clay, or Steph. The rest are coming from, role players that don't typically hit those shots, but guess what? They're getting into the paint and they're creating that contact and they're kicking out. And this is exactly what Boston is known for. For Golden State to be doing it better than what you're known for, it's you're right. It's a lack of experience. It's a lack. This is the moment maybe getting a little bit too big for you.
That's the one thing with these young players, and you can't have that, especially with Golden State is playing Golden State basketball right now. Like literally with those rotations and those adjustments that's being made and the floor spacing out there that they actually had this game, it created a lot of Golden State basketball because a lot of those situations was open to Steph Curry because of the spacing that they actually had out there by playing Bielitsa.
Bielitsa.
I don't know why I keep also
Balenciaga.
Bielitsa, Otto Porter more, and then actually making those adjustments with Looney and Draymond not playing together as much. It just created that floor spacing that was needed. And when the Warriors is playing that game, you gotta be tight. You gotta have everything situated. So I'm just really thinking like, the Warriors playing Warriors basketball. What we gotta think about is Super Warriors basketball. You've seen the Steph Curry 3 with the relocation, where GP2 gave him a little pass and set the screen in the corner. That's Warriors basketball. When was the last time we really seen a play like that from them? they made those adjustments, and that was just showing exactly what it is. So this is what they really need to do, especially going into Oracle for Game 5. This is actually, I see Game 5, you know what I mean, being a game where it's one of these teams finally get a back-to-back win, and I could see the Warriors getting a back-to-back win going back. I said Oracle, didn't I? I'm so
Yeah, it's Chaser now.
we're going back to Chase. They're really gonna get. I think Warriors is gonna come and get this win in this one.
No, I agree. I think game 5 is definitely going to be in favor. I think that they have the momentum. I don't think any team had a momentum going into the next game. You look at you could argue game 2 that the Warriors did have a little bit of momentum going to Boston, but I don't think that, it's tough. It's tough going into a hostile environment and carrying over momentum because obviously this is your first game home. It's in the finals. The I think the Celtics had a little bit more momentum in game 3, even though that they lost game 2. I think this is going to be the first real taste of who has the momentum, and this is going to be a pivotal game. Game 5, typically whoever wins game 5 typically wins the series. Typically, but I still have I've had all I've not changed. I've not wavered. I have the Warriors winning in 6, and I think that they take care of it. They're gonna take care of business in Chase, and then they're gonna defeat the odds and make sure that they put it away in Boston. I hope they don't have that narrative where they're gonna lose this game so they could win it at home. No, you have to win the game. Period. You have to win it. Do not prolong the series. Do not drag it out. You have to. You give too much confidence to a dormant beast, and what happens when that beast wakes up? You have to put him away, and I think it starts with game 5.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely correct. Because the one thing you don't want to do is like the fact that Boston don't think they're out of it at all, and the fact is you don't want to give them any more life or any more confidence to be like, you know what, this is really our series. I don't even know what we're doing. Stop playing around with these guys. But with the, like you said, with the adjustments that they got to make for this next game, is Boston really got to get to the basket.
Yeah.
Tatum got to stop going for those foul calls and just really attack the basket. He has too much mismatches that he's not taking advantage of. Like, it's gonna be crazy, but I think the Warriors are still gonna edge this game out.
No, I agree. I think that it's gonna be close. I don't think that they're gonna blow them out. Um, Not to say I'll be surprised if Boston does get blown out, but I don't think it's gonna be a blown out game. I don't think it's gonna be a rout. I think it's gonna be within the 10-point range. Maybe they win by like 7, 5 to 7 points. But I do believe that the Warriors do enough to win game 5 to go to Boston to potentially close it out. Um, they have to. This is you want to be considered the champs. You want to be considered one of the greatest dynasties to ever dawn basketball. Then this is what you do. This is what the great teams do. They figure out their opponent, and they win. Period.
And I gotta think too, they gotta figure out a way. Boston gotta figure out a way to get Rob Williams in that game late. Like, it's tough because the way the Warriors have been doing now, they're doing that. They're giving more space, and so it takes away Robin Williams where he has to be on the bench. Where you gotta have Horford out there who could really move a little bit better. But I think Boston gotta figure out a way to get Robin Williams in the game more.
Robert.
Did I say Rob Williams?
You said Robin.
I said Robin at that point. I meant Rob Williams.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool. RIP to GOAT though. Nah, I agree. The tough part about it with Rob is off those screens, he doesn't step up. He's a little afraid that if he does step up, then he'll get the blow by. I think that you have to have confidence in who you're stepping up for. So on those screens, like say if it's Smart or White that's stepping up, well, that's trying to fight over the screen where Rob is stepping up. Well, you have to have confidence in your teammate that they're gonna recognize that he's overstepping to create the separation for the three. And if Curry goes by him, they're the ones that got to drop. They're the ones that have to come and go down. Essentially, now what you're doing is showing and allowing Robert to step up fully. And if Curry comes around, now you can have Smart or White drop down and get back onto Curry to contest a shot at the rim. It's tough, and he's not willing to do that. And if you're not willing to do that, it's always going to be an open shot. Curry only needs this much space to make that three. You not stepping up is giving him that much space.
No, I think honestly, out of if he actually does it more aggressive, I think out of him and Horford, Rob Williams would actually be better because he has more size, length, and he could jump. You've seen him block one of Steph Curry's 3-pointers already in this series. But the thing about it too is I think Boston just really has to play their game and allow the Warriors to play their game, and you could see who wins. Sometimes it's not about just even matching a team. It's about a certain your team's dominance. And the thing about it, they always use Robin Williams, and when they do go to set the screen for Robin Williams, man, they would pre-switch it, and Al Horford would go ahead and get in that screen action, so it keeps him out of it. And he could be the guy who actually gets to the basket, and he's protecting the basket still. And that's the way the Boston has been working that screen action and that defensive concept, so that if Horford does get out there and he gets blown by, the person that's at the basket is actually Rob Williams instead of Derek White or Marcus Smart. So that's the thing where I'm like, Boston just got to be, at some points, they just got to be like, you know what? This is Boston basketball. We're going to play Boston basketball and let the Warriors play Warriors basketball, and we're going to see who really wins this. Like, instead of trying to adjust to them, keep your game plan.
I think another factor with that is also with Looney not starting, what Kerr did was, as soon as, because Horford was the first person to go to the bench. When Horford went to the bench, he immediately put Looney in the game. And I think that was another adjustment on behalf of Kerr, that he's seeing like this is an opportunity to get Looney out there, because Looney not only can, defend Rob, but it gets you another big out there to get you a rebound without Horford kind of like in the way. I think that Kerr was living with not having, help on the defensive boards, as long as we could get back defensively. And it showed in this game. Every time Horford came out, Looney was right in the game. Otto will come out and Looney will come right in. And I think that's what you have to learn Boston wise. If maybe I should take Williams out first and give Williams a little bit of rest instead of Horford out first. And at least I'm not sacrificing too much offense. Whereas who else am I putting in the game? Am I putting in White, or am I putting in the other Williams? Grant
Williams.
Right.
Hey, look, that's a conversation they gotta have. Boston gotta have, but I still think they just need to more stick to their guns when it comes down to tight at the end of the games, and just let your size be your advantage, because that's what it is. And you having a downsize, and it's tough, like, because you gotta keep up with the Warriors, but sometimes you just gotta bully them. Like, let's just keep it 100. You just gotta bully them.
Yeah.
And it's 7 games. You hoping for 7 games. If you can bully them for 7 games, they're going to be tired by 7 games of fighting with somebody who's bigger than you.
Yeah. It's a good series, man. I think that this is probably one of the best finals I've watched in a very long time. As far as star power, as far as coaching adjustments, as far as the excitement of the game going into these games. I mean, I texted you yesterday thinking that the game was tonight. You text me back like, who doesn't have a game on a Sunday? Like this is when you want to have I don't like these 2-3 days of rest. These guys played 82 games in a series. I mean, 82 games in a season. they played, you know, they've ultimately played what 20 something games in order to get to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
There shouldn't be any time in between. You know, it should be every
I
other
mean,
day.
at the end of the day, there has to be time in between because we gotta understand. Yeah, you played 82 games. Now you went through just 20 other games after that. So now you're at 200. You're at 100 games you just
Mhm.
played. So it's just like the regular season where you have rest days. Certain games that designate rest days when you look at the schedule.
Yeah,
And so I think that's what happens when you think of the NBA. You got to have certain days, certain time, especially in the finals, where these guys could get a little extra day to rest because you just finished playing 82 games and then 20, almost 20 games for certain each team
right.
going into this. So that's 100 games before you even get to the finals. So it's like I understand what you're saying as a basketball fan. I'm like,
Right. But
cool.
as a
I
player,
wonder,
I
but
get
as a
you.
player in a league to protect your players, you still have to have an extra day in between at some point so they can actually get some. Because that entire finals, conference finals, always back to back.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to protect the players too. So it's tough as a fan. You want to be like, oh man, this come on, let's play. Especially on a Sunday. I think they should have scheduled to where Sundays are game days, which they have all the finals on Sundays, and it's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah, I mean, it should be. I mean,
yeah,
this should be a game on the weekends. This should
yeah,
always be a
it's
game
the
on the weekends,
weekend.
you know? Yeah, it's the
Exactly.
weekend, you know. But again, I'm not mad at it. I understand, you know, from your perspective on it. I just, you know, I just want a game. You know, we want. There's no basketball right now. It's not like, you know, we could turn on another channel and there's another game on. This is the championship. So I just think that there should be a game at the very least on a Thursday and on a Sunday. I get that they played it on Friday. Now they're going back to Golden State. They're giving them 2 extra days, you know, and those extra days are crucial. You know, it's time for them to see their
Oh,
families. You know,
and
time
then
for
that
them
too,
to
you
get some
gotta,
rest.
yeah, then that too, you gotta say now they're going from east to west, so these flights are a little harder on the body.
Mhm.
Because you know how hard it was for the Golden State Warriors to play Memphis, because that's technically East West type of movement
Yeah,
vibes. So it's like it's tough.
yeah, no, I agree. It is. It's tough. It's tough. But we got game 5 tomorrow. What is it? 8 p.m. Eastern.
Something like that. I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah, 8 p.m. No, I'm sorry, 9 p.m.
Mhm.
Eastern. And these games are late.
Mhm.
But yeah, we got game 5, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's tied up 2-2. As always, my prediction is for Golden State to, you know, win game 5. They're gonna win in 6, as I've been saying. Um, obviously, X was wrong with his Warriors in 5.
Bro, game one literally threw it all off.
Nah, I
Because if
did.
we let's keep
It did. You muted yourself. Hold on, let me unmute you. Okay, there you
anyway,
go.
I don't know how to just mute it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
promise you, I don't know how. But like I was saying, I'm sorry, mute gang. But like I said, if they would have won game one, which they should have won,
Mhm.
this right here would be game 5. Warriors would be up 3-1 going into game 5 at, I was gonna say Oracle again. Chase ready to close out the series. Clay started getting hot in the last game. This game he was still kind of cooled off. He was regular Clay. But going into game 5, if it was the close out the last game,
Oh yeah,
it would have been
it'd be Clay.
crazy.
It'd have been Clay.
And this is literally what I envisioned it to be. Game 5, Warriors winning, but they went ahead and laid the egg in that game 1 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And it's just literally Curry making adjustments. If he made the adjustments he made this last game in game 1, it would be it. But hey,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And actually, game 4 was the first time Golden State outscored Boston in the fourth quarter. Usually they did all their scoring in the third, and then, you know, Boston just, you know, tries to maintain in the fourth. But they outscored, you know, Boston by 11 in the fourth quarter, you know, 28-19. So I do think I do think Game 5 is gonna be pivotal. But I mean, they win Game 5. You're gonna have Game 6, Clay in Boston. Oh man, that's tough.
Mhm. You
That
thought
is
they were
tough.
saying you thought they were saying F Dre. They're gonna be saying F Clay, man.
Oh
Because
man, I can't wait for those that post game conference with Clay in Game 6. Man, he's gonna be like, yo, real classy, Boston, real classy. Yeah, but we have Game 5 tomorrow with Golden State versus the Boston Celtics. We will be live before the game, of course, as we always are, as we try to. Hey, my kids in the background going crazy. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, Game 5 will be live to you 15 minutes before the game. We're gonna do a little breakdown. We might even get a Boston fan in here just to talk about it. Yeah, I don't know a Boston accent, so
oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
You take us out of here, X.
All right, thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode. You already know the vibes, man. Like, share, sub, and all the above. Your boy